A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome in as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Fifer with you. No Mitch Thunder Nellis. He is off in that purple state, Minnesota. No thanks.
Gross.
Yes, so he's there. He'll be back next week. I'm just filling in for the day with our guy, Mason Crosby. Mason, how are we doing this morning? You good?
I'm here, and since it is the Open week, Open Championship week, or as we used to call it, the British Open, been up since, again, 5:30 or so this morning, watching a little Open Championship golf, and our guy, an American, Brian Harman, just went on a tear this morning. The short lefty.
Why is he called a short? Why is he short? What makes him short? Because as a 5'6" guy, I'd like to know what you deem as short.
Well, I guess let's not get into it too deep, but y'all, you would appreciate him. I think you could go out there. You could look at Brian Harman and be like, man, I could go and be a professional golfer. I could do this. But he does all these little twitches. He's like really twitchy over the ball. And then he was doing an interview with a woman at the end of his round.
Right.
And she was like 6 inches taller. Like, she must have been a tall woman, but like she was way taller than him. And I almost took a picture because I was like, oh man, he's like looking up to her. But it's great. He won at Royal Liverpool a couple years ago, so really likes the Open. What I love about the Open, before we dive into the weeds of our, what we got on this rundown, is I was thinking about this morning. I think what I love about it is how these courses can play so different depending on the weather conditions,
the wind, and so forth.
Yeah. Today's nice. It's not windy. Like, guys, don't have their rain jackets on. They're not restricted, and they're going out and shooting better numbers. It reminds me a ton of playing in Lambeau Field, because Lambeau Field in September and during training, like whenever that weather is nice and it's good and that wind's not blowing, I love everyone loves kicking in Lambeau. It's an amazing amazing grass. It's amazing place to kick. As soon as that wind starts blowing and that weather turns, it becomes a completely different animal. So I think whenever I watch the Open, when I go play over in Scotland and do all that, I think that's why I get such, I guess, familiar feels with it, because it's just like it's a day-to-day deal where this same course can play 3 different ways depending on how the wind blows, how the weather goes, and all of those things.
Not that it's on our rundown, because it's definitely not. But since you brought it up, my memory is horrible because I'm old. But were you kicking in Lambeau when only the one side had the skyboxes and the other side did not have the skyboxes, right?
Oh, yeah.
QR, right? Okay. So
that's South End.
The difference had to be crazy kicking to one versus the other, especially in games where you had bad weather, would be my guess, because the winds would get swirling, is what I was always told.
Oh, yeah. Like, you never want a north wind because that usually means it's colder, but the north wind was way more predictable than that south wind. That south wind would come into that stadium, roll across all those clubs and all the suites, and it would swirl down on that north end like crazy. So it changed the patterns, but at least with that south end getting built up, it at least made it where it was just kind of turning everywhere, and you could predict it. Honestly, I thought it was more predictable than it was before.
Yeah.
Which I think guys, though, like players that came in from other teams had more trouble when that new side came up. The kickers on the other teams, I'd see them before games just so confused.
Really?
Because you would feel wind blowing on your right, but the ball would move left to right. So it was like the being in there more often than not. And honestly, I think that the consistency for me helped me later in my career when they put that up. I actually had some of my best seasons, moving forward after that in Lambeau Field, just because it oddly enough became more predictable for my kicks than it was before.
And that's the advantage of having a kicker in Green Bay for an amount of time versus changing kickers out every 5 or 6 games and having to have a new guy get adjusted. And we go back to the offseason signing, obviously, of bringing back the kicker being a big deal. Coming up on today's Mason Crosby show, see Sparky Fifer filling in for Mitch Nellis. Timothy Gay, author of Rory Land. We've had him on Wisconsin Sports Daily a couple of times. We'll have him on for the first time on the Green coming up at 9:45 like we do each and every Friday on this show, brought to you by Alice Windows, Doors, and more. So looking forward to talking to him. Zach Brockman, president of the Beloit Sky Carp, will join us at 10 o'clock as we are just over a week out from Mason's big softball game. Looking forward to hearing that. Really was intrigued yesterday hearing Bonnie Blair saying she's going to go to the cages to get ready for this. I guess no matter if you're an ice skater or otherwise, if you're a competitor, Mason, you're a competitor in everything.
Yes, I just actually went to play it against sports yesterday and got a few little softball bats for the kids. We got a couple extra softballs. We're gonna go throw it around. Hit the ball around a little bit probably this afternoon through the weekend. So we're prepping over here too. All my kids think that they're gonna get a couple at bats, but
sure, why not?
If anything, I'm gonna let them run the bases.
Yeah.
I'm just like, pinch run for me all day. Let's go.
Totally got to let the kids have at bats. I totally am all for that. Yeah, they'll never forget that. People cheering and all that. Oh, that'd be a totally cool thing.
Yeah,
so we'll get
ready to roll.
Yep, we'll get to all of that coming up. Going to start with Damian Lillard, however, who was with the Milwaukee Bucks, as we all know. They trade for Damian Lillard. They get rid of Drew Holiday. And then Damian Lillard essentially goes on to get hurt in back-to-back seasons in the postseason, coincidentally both involving Indiana, which is unfortunate. It doesn't work out the way that everybody thought. And then, speaking of the way everybody didn't think it was going to happen, Miles Turner signs with the Bucks, and then they release and stretch out Damian Lillard over 5 years. So they're going to be carrying like $23 million in salary every year of Damian Lillard, even though he's not on the basketball team. But everybody thought Damian Lillard was going to go chase a ring, right? Because then have one. So maybe Boston would make sense. Minnesota was being talked about. The Lakers were being talked about. They're trying to put together a senior circuit, and have been for the last couple of years. Clippers have a senior circuit going over there. They just got Bradley Beal. So that all makes sense. I don't think anybody brought up him going back to the Portland Trail Blazers.
How wild.
3 for 42, whatever it was. So,
yeah.
I mean, that is crazy to see that happen. I guess before we get to the question is, does the Damian Lillard, stretch and wave look worse now that he signed back with the Trailblazers? Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. And, of course, you can always sound off and record a voice message right there on your free Odyssey app. Hit send, and we can play it back on there. Have to be able to understand you, no swearing, and we are ready to rock and roll. Your thoughts when you heard the news yesterday on Lillard, Mason?
Had a couple thoughts. Good for him. I mean, he is getting a raise, right? I mean, in a sense. I mean, he goes and he signs for just under $15 million a year there for with the Trailblazers. What is the Bucks are paying him $23 a year?
Yep.
Kind of moving forward, something
Correct.
like that.
Yep.
So It was a good deal for him, good deal for the Trailblazers, because they get a Damian Lillard, which I didn't realize. Like, I know he's good, and it's like I know his numbers, but whenever I put it in this context, he's one of 2 players to, I think, average over 25 points a game, 5+ rebounds a game, and less than 3 steals a game. Him and Michael Jordan.
That's crazy.
Is unbelievable. I did not put him in my mind in that company. But, just an exceptional player. Like you said, though, doesn't have a ring. But we know whenever he came to the Bucks, he was struggling with family. He went through a divorce, just not being, being home and, like, being around family and, like, where he feels comfortable. So, I give him credit for going to the place. you give Trailblazers credit for finding a way to sign him and, get him back there. Think about their maneuver in their trades. I mean, how did they end up with Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard and all the picks and all the stuff that like came with it? I mean, if you look at their front office, applaud to them. in Portland for this maneuvering in a 2 to 3 year period where they've ended up now with all these pieces. Are they a championship team? No, but they at least they're making moves like we want to see the Bucks. Like the Bucks have been making moves. They're doing something to try to get some energy going in that place. And then from the player side, I started thinking about it, and the Bucks did something. I mean, if anything, you don't know if this is was on their mind, but it was very gracious to do this for a player. To release him, you're going to continue to pay him, and then now he goes and signs and is back to Portland, and he gets kind of this opportunity to probably end his career where he feels comfortable, kind of where he grew up, like all these things, and that just doesn't happen much in sports, where it's like this player now, a legendary player in his own right, gets to go back to where it all started and gets to try to do something special there. Probably won't happen, but at least he gets to go somewhere where now he doesn't have to deal with worrying about his family, doing all those things, all those off the field issues that were here whenever he was with the Bucks.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, #1 network in Milwaukee. Steve Sparky Fifer filling in for Mitch Thunder Nellis today with Mason Crosby. Yesterday when this news broke, Wisconsin Sports Daily, my initial reaction was, dude, amen. Like, applause, great job. And I'm just talking from a parent standpoint, right? To say that, man, 2 years being away from my kids, not being able to take them to school like every day, like he had done his whole career playing in Portland. All of his family essentially had moved to Portland to be with Lillard over the course of his career, so they were all there. It wasn't like they were all in Oakland still. So they were all there from that standpoint. And to say, you know what, I guess I don't win a ring maybe I don't win a championship ring when this is all said and done, but I'm not going to ring chase and be away from my kids. There are not many dudes that you can look at and say they've done that in their career and have gone back to Portland. Now, let me say this. Rachel McNichols, we know Rachel Nichols. You know who that is, right? She's on ESPN and so forth. She irritated me last night, Mason Crosby, and I know it's hard.
Right.
It's hard to get me irritated.
Yeah, I get flustered.
But Rachel Nichols had a tweet last night that really kind of got me going, I guess you could say. Not because she was wrong, but this is what she tweeted out. I was such a huge fan of the Dame era in Portland. Him going back feels like a big win. I respect pro athletes' relentless desire to win a title, and I'm in no way saying that shouldn't be the goal, but, in capital letters, pretending that is the only thing is just flat out ignoring part of the experience. When you catch the special lightning in a bottle that guys like Steph, Kobe, and Dame have had with their team's fans, it's not nothing. In fact, once you have it, it may end up being the most important thing of all. Where has that text been for Giannis for the last 5 summers? Where's that been? She didn't even include Giannis in the tweet itself. Like, you got to be kidding me, Mason.
Got you fired up, huh?
Oh, come on, man. But Giannis doesn't have that. Instead, Giannis needs to leave. The Bucks should trade Giannis. Yeah. Nothing about Giannis and the importance of the fans and all of that.
How good it is here, and that, he is a fan favorite. Like, there's something special about that. Right. And it is funny that she would say that and for Dame and not in regards to the Bucks and the teams here in Milwaukee.
Yes. And and you're sticking with the ESPN line of how they keep pushing Giannis out of Milwaukee. So she's just going to stick with that line.
So she'll stay on that.
She's crazy.
Well, we talked about so much on our show, and I know you did on your show as well in the afternoons. It's just those trade talks, all the stuff with Giannis. It was just it was so ridiculous. It's like, why does the national media, why does some of this media, even in the state, want to tell that story so many times? It's just like that. They have nothing else better to say. They're just like, all right, Giannis needs to be out of there because it's not big enough for him. It's not good enough. But it's like the fan base is. The fans are big enough and good enough, and Giannis loves it, and he's all for it. He just wants to always know that they're chasing the right things. And you can always say this line of, we're chasing championships, chasing all that. But everyone's chasing a championship. Right. Everyone wants to win a championship. But hope is not a strategy. Wanting something's not a strategy. You have to click along and do the pieces. And I do think the Bucks have consistently done that. We talked yesterday, John Horst, his interview that he had, where he's saying, like, I've exhausted every possible situation I can. I can sleep well at night because I know I've done everything in my power to try to get this team and put the best product out on the court. Now it's up to the players. Now it's up to them. And that is how it works. It's like front office, all those guys, they can only put what they can on the court, and then those players have to decide for themselves and play the game. So, like, we get frustrated with GMs and all that. There are some goofy moves at times, but it's like the players have to go out there and do it on the court, and they have to do it the right way, and they have to come together as a team if they want to chase championships, if you will.
Talking about the question, does Damian Lillard wave look worse now that he signed with the Blazers? No, because I don't think it really would have mattered. I think you could say it looked worse if he ended up in, say, Boston, and then Boston beats you in the playoffs and they win a championship.
They win a championship
right.
And he balls out. Yeah.
Correct. And there's no threat of Portland ruining Giannis's dreams in Milwaukee for the next 3 years while Damian Lillard's going to be in Portland. He's not going to play this year, they said. So it's going to be 2 years. And at that time, he's going to be 35, 36 years old. So not too worried about this backfiring on the Bucks from that perspective. I have one more for you, and we got to get to a quick timeout and switch gears to the Packers. When you and all your guys, your former players, Jordy Nelson, he's going to be in the softball thing with you, the Brouhaha coming up next weekend, and all your guys, and I don't know if you're at this point yet because you guys are relatively just out, so maybe this doesn't happen until later when you're out longer. But I just always wonder, like, when players are sitting at the bar or sitting around having a meal or watching the game and start talking about, the greats of all time and who's better than who, because I'm sure those conversations probably happen.
Yeah.
For fans, a lot of fans, rings come up. And that's a thing, championships, right? How many championships do you have? And that's what we're talking about with Damian Lillard of. He's going to be top 75 player of all time, probably not going to have a ring now when it's all said and done, and then how he's viewed by history. But those people that view him that are talked about, that's media putting him that way in history. That's not actual players that played. So from your perspective, a guy that played, how do those conversations go if you've been in those conversations?
It's the player conversations will be very similar. I can just say how many times I was sitting in my locker and a group of guys it's weird how it's almost like traffic on the interstate, which always blows my mind, where you're cruising along and how does that traffic, just this enigma, start forming? But that would happen in a locker room. All of a sudden, two guys are having this conversation, and all of a sudden you have 10 guys. Yep. And they're standing, and there's a clear line, and it's a LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, and they would just start just going, and you just get this back and forth. By the end of the time, you don't even know who's on where. Someone might have switched sides at one point. So yes, and I would hear that. I would hear, oh, well, he has this many championships. This guy, who would you want, on the court to win that game? All of those things. I do think a Dame will be viewed in that, you're going to just have to look at Dame's stats. And I said with the Michael Jordan stat, the fact that of two players in NBA history, it's Dame and Jordan that are 25-plus points, 5-plus assists, and less than 3 turnovers per game. Dame and Jordan. So, you can't take that away from him.
Correct.
Right? He's going to be in that rare air. But, yes, there will be that where it's if you match him up against Kobe, against LeBron, against Jordan, even that stat with Jordan, it's but Jordan has the championships. So Dame takes a step back.
But then you get into that conversation.
Even in a player mindset, it is still the same where you're just you did not lead a team to a championship.
Okay, but let's take it to the next level then, right? So you're talking about no championships versus guys with a handful of rings. Clearly, no debate. But if you take it to, say, football and go, Aaron's got a Super Bowl ring, Brett's got a Super Bowl ring, but how do they compare to Manning that's got a couple of Super Bowl rings? How does that then play out? Is it still he's got 3 rings, you've got 1 ring, so you're not in front of that guy? How does that work?
That's an interesting. I think if you have 1, I think it starts getting into deep into stats.
Gotcha.
Deep into who is the guy that you'd want leading your team. All the in all those situations. We talked about the other day. Who would you want in 4th and goal to win a Super Bowl? We talked about the quarterback rankings that ESPN put out, which I thought were a joke. Anyways, because of, the Jalen Hurts stuff and all the. It's just they had. I love Baker Mayfield. Like, I love his hand, all that. But the fact that he was a top 10 quarterback on that list blew my mind.
Agreed.
So, like, there's some of those where it's like, and when I look at Baker Mayfield, he just has a little more juice to him. He's almost like remember Sam Bradford?
Yep.
I'd almost like put him like where it's like, he does some good things, but he, like, Baker has a little more fire in him. Sam was just kind of a dud. So, but like, when I look at it that way, whenever everyone has a championship. Now we deep dive into stats. We deep dive into I looked at Aaron. So Aaron Rodgers, you brought up Aaron Favre versus like a Peyton Manning. Aaron's like those numbers. I saw this thing. Someone posted it, and with his TD to interception ratio, and he's like top 10, just him. On like how many years he had the best touchdown to interception ratio in the league, in the history of the NFL. Like, I would take that all day, every day. Like, the guy is not going to throw the ball away. He's going to give you the best chance to win. Peyton didn't throw a ton of interceptions.
Yes, he did. He choked away more playoff games than anybody. The guy was horrible in the postseason.
In the postseason,
God.
yes. In the postseason. And exactly. So would you take Peyton Manning?
No.
He had some great teams. Think about those Colts teams, like the players he had around him, the defenses he had. I mean, he had Farini and their team
Mathis.
was stacked.
Yep.
Mathis on the side. Yeah. Their teams were stacked. And then when he went to Denver, it was the same thing. They leaned on a great defense, good run game, and he was just able to throw his little dinks and dunks all over the place. So, the Tom Brady's of the world, like Tom, you can't discount what Tom Brady did. Like,
he's a cheater, but outside of that,
but
yes.
But at the same time, the system worked for him, and he was able to. He ran a system for a very long time with great defenses, and then lit it up. Honestly, his team on offense until the Randy Moss era was not always the best offense in the league, but Randy Moss, opened the top up. But yeah, so it's interesting, and I love those arguments. I love just sitting there and fly on the wall. And every once in a while, I'd just be an instigator, and I'd throw in, I'd throw in my 2 cents or another name, and then it just like turn a different direction, which is always my favorite thing to do.
See, that's interesting. Tommy Wirtz, I didn't see Mason Crosby as an instigator. Necessarily. I see you as an instigator, Tommy.
I mean,
but I don't
know.
see him as an instigator.
That is the worst take you have had on the radio ever. Of Mason Crosby isn't an instigator.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's
literally 2 hours of instigating from 9 a.m. to 11.
Listen to me. I'm looking at him in YouTube right now. If you don't know, we're live streaming on YouTube at the Fan Milwaukee. Use the @ symbol, the Fan Milwaukee, and you will see the angelic halo over Mason's head while he does the show.
Just perfect.
You're just completely missing it if you're
no
not.
Sarcasm.
No. Molly knows it. That's why she married him.
Exactly.
She married an angel is what she did. Timothy Gay, author of Roryland, coming up at 9:45. Of course, we go on the green with Mason. That, of course, brought to you by Alice Windows, Doors, and more. Up next, we still stay with the Green Bay Packers a little bit because that last segment wasn't supposed to be Packers, but that's where it went to because
we shifted.
Me and Mason. But coming up next, we're going to talk more about the NFC North in an interesting retirement out of the AFC that could open a door to a possible Packers trade. We'll dive into that straight ahead. It's a Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbooks. Sparky and Mason here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Mason Crosby show presented by Verizon. Sparky in for Mitch Thunder Nellis today. Thunder will be back on Monday. Mason Crosby here as always.
Sparky,
Brewers.
did you pick this music?
Did I?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Come on now. What is this?
Since you're going to bring this up,
Beep, beep, beep,
I
beep,
swear
beep,
to God, I've never heard a talk show talk more about music bumpers
Do you wonder
in
why?
my life
You wonder why?
than this
We love
show
music.
right here.
I know.
What is the deal?
It's a vibes show. They're all
It
about
is.
the vibes.
It is
Yeah.
just music play, start
We're just
talking.
out
You
here
don't got to
feeling
listen
Sparky.
to it.
We're just out here feeling it.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, it doesn't. See, I guess.
It's a human show, Sparky.
That's
You
the
join
thing.
the humanness.
That's the thing. Like, music isn't a big thing with me necessarily, but B, I did not pick this. This was put together, I don't know, a while
that
ago.
literally sounded, I think, like it was my kids on their little, recorder.
Man, you are harsh on music.
Oh, yes.
All right, so I'll tell you what. We'll do this.
Tommy's having, see, this is the troll in me.
No,
This
that's
is
fine. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do an on-air production meeting right now. By Monday, no, we'll give it Tuesday because Thunder's not here. By Tuesday, you three knuckleheads, email me the list of music that you want. We'll create special music for just your show because God knows I'm not going to play it. But we'll create special music for your show, and then you will be happy with the music, and I don't got to listen to y'all complain.
We're going to need 5 folders for one for each day
Well,
because
why?
it's all vibes, all
It's
different
all vibes.
days.
It's just gotta- we
Mondays
gotta
is
feel it.
country, Fridays is feel good, and then we figure it out in the middle every
Whatever.
week.
It's like our walkout song. We got to feel it. We got to feel it. Got to bring it back in the right way.
Yeah.
Tommy knows.
Brewers start the second half tonight in L.A. against the Dodgers. Just how important it is winning that first series out of the break. And we'll go inside the clubhouse with Forbes Sports Brewers writer Andrew Wagner on Wisconsin Sports Daily coming up this afternoon at 3:20 here on The Fan. So stay tuned for that. We turn our attention to the Green Bay Packers and the NFC North. And yesterday, a retirement. I mean, Tommy's acting like it was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, you could say he's been retired for a little bit, but Mike Williams announces his retirement with the Chargers, and we were having a conversation about, maybe this opens up a spot for Romeo Doubs. But realistically, Mason Crosby, Jim Harbaugh doesn't care if you are the wide receiver on that football team. That man wants to run the football. He ain't about paying any receiver a lot of money, and that's just not how his offense runs.
Well, I hear you there. I mean, if I were them, I would go because, Herbert, he was, and that's Tommy's favorite guy, Justin Herbert, and he was at number 6 on that ESPN list. So, they have a great quarterback over there, so they need to get pieces in place for him. Like, I don't understand it necessarily either, and I don't see it happening, but it is a landing spot now. Like, if the Packers want to move on from Dobbs, if they need to move somebody out of that wide receiver room, which I just don't see them doing it. I was there for so long. It's like they like having, like, the bodies in the building because they know the attrition. They know that somebody's going to get hurt. They know that they're going to need those bodies in the building. And I think you just don't move on from Romeo Doubs unless they just see it. And they've done this before, draft pick last year of their rookie contract, trade or just, cut because it's just like, all right, we don't even want to get in a situation where they have a good year and we feel compelled to have to sign, need to sign them after the season. The Packers are good at breakups in that way. So I could see them looking down that avenue if they're just like, all right, Dobbs isn't in our future plans. It's time to find a new home for him and try to get some value out of it. So because that's how they work.
Right. So there's a couple things here. Number one, kind of like Giannis and Middleton's relationship. Not that it's at that level, but I do think these two guys are tight, Love and Dobbs, right? So if you move off of Dobbs, you better make sure everything is right in Jordan Love's world and he's kind of okay with it. Not that he has to approve it, but I would make sure to feel the waters. Secondly, what kind of pick do we really think you're going to get for Romeo Doubs, Mason?
Yeah, I don't know. 5th, 6th round,
maybe. And is that worth it?
If it's middle of the season and, say Christian Watson comes back and he's healthy and he's looking good and that's who you want to kind of push your chips in on, is all right, Christian Watson is maybe the future receiver, which I'm not sure. Both those guys have had injury situations and issues. then maybe you go that. And my question, though, is always like, why is it just Romeo Doubs that's on that list? Do you just think these other guys? I know Mitch, like Thunder, loves Dontavian Wicks. It's like you're not going to get rid of Reed. You obviously have Golden, like all of those things. Is Dobbs just that guy?
Well, it's because he got suspended last year and was unhappy with how they were using him in the offense and so forth. I think that, so and all of his concussions to go along with it.
Yeah, but and like you just said, the word concussions. I mean, again, Chargers aren't going to give a 5th-round pick for a guy that has that serious of an injury situation. Yep. So you're going to go through this training camp. We're going to see it unfold with this wide receiver room because it's going to be. I mean, there's going to be some serious competition for that 1, 2, 3 spot. And then the bottom end of that wide receiver group is deep as well. But that 1, 2, 3 spot's going to be really interesting to see. Does Golden step up? I don't think he can be the 1 right away, but is he going to be the number 2 guy? And if Dobbs bumps down, if he's not the number 1, he's not, Reed goes number 1, you got Golden at 2, and Dobbs is playing that 3 spot, there's no way he's happy about that.
But that slot has to be Jaden Reed, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but like you say slot, like it doesn't matter what position he's playing. He might be they might build plays in the offense around that guy.
Right.
Like, you look at a number 1, it's like it's not always just the outside guy. I would almost say the number 1 at the Patriots when Tom Brady was there was the slot. It was Edelman, Welker, like
for sure.
It was their slot and their tight ends were their top, top guys, except for when Randy Moss was there. So it's not always necessarily that, but like if Dobbs is not again the focus of the offense in the passing game, then it's like, all right, he's not stepping up. He didn't do the things. His concussion history is worrisome. Then I guess he is that first man out in a sense. If he's discontent, if there's discontent there.
I don't know if you all ever made a comparison on Dobbs one way or the other as far as like what that comp is or whatever. And you're probably going to get very mad at me when I say this because it's going to be a fan favorite who has done amazing things for the Packers and is in the community, just is part owner of Pickleball Kingdom and all that.
Okay, yeah.
He reminds me. He reminds me of Driver. Not that he is Driver, but just like the build. He's not afraid to go over the middle. He's got decent hands.
Yeah.
Like that. He reminds me of a Driver.
His frame. I feel like he's a little bigger, like Driver.
A little thicker.
Yeah, just like a little bigger. Like how he runs his routes a little different. Like Drive was so shifty. I've never seen it. Like Drive's like this ball of muscle, but like his hips, like his shiftiness was like unbelievable. Dobbs is more, I would say, like a systematic route runner as well. But I mean, I could see it. I love Romeo Dobbs, like how he throws his hands at the ball, how he goes and gets the ball and makes catches. That's the concern I have about moving away from someone like that. Like he is a great pass catcher. He is going to go and get you the ball. He's a possession guy. He's not obviously not as like dynamic as Jordy, but I see him like catch balls where he's going to go and make that great catch if you need it, if that ball's a little if it's not in the right spot. And that's why Jordan Love probably loves him. Not just like they're good buddies, but it's also I can throw a ball in a bigger space to a Romeo Dobbs than you can to some other guys.
Important PSA for our listeners. Mason Crosby Show is also a podcast. You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite pods. Catch the full episode, listen to my individual hour, or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search The Mason Crosby Show, hit the follow button so you get every minute of the show your way and on your time. And, of course, don't forget about us on YouTube. Live stream us right now. Come and see Mason Crosby, myself. Tommy Wirtz pops in. Our next guest will join us on the live streaming on YouTube as well. Timothy Gay, author of Rory Land, a book about Rory McIlroy. We'll talk about the latest goings-on at the Open Championship with him straight ahead here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Number one network in Milwaukee. Sparky here, filling in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. Mason Crosby there. And it is a Friday, and Mason has not slept for over a day because he just cannot stop watching golf and watching the Golf Network wrap-up coverage and everything else. These, majors are kind of like your, mini Christmases throughout the year, I'm assuming.
Yes. I posted on Thursday morning pretty early that this is the second best golf watching week of the year behind the Masters, and I don't know, though. It's close to – they might be tied because I love getting up early. I love being able – it's done at around 10, noon. It's done early, and you can just have the rest of your day. So I love getting to watch early morning golf.
You and I disagree. I had to get up at 6 a.m. to get my kid to a baseball game this morning, and I was not happy about it.
I'm ready to go.
You voluntarily want to get up early.
I think I fell asleep at 8:30, 9 o'clock last night.
Well, there you go. I didn't go to bed till 12:30 every night. Yeah, so I was up way later. All right, let's get to it.
What's the latest on the PGA Tour? What course do you need to get out and play? What's the latest from the local golf pro? It's time for On the Green, presented by Alice Windows, Doors, and More on The Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. Presented by Verizon, Milwaukee's #1 network, broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
All right, so we don't have a golf course specific guest this week necessarily, but we got one of my favorite guests that I've had on a couple of times. Timothy M. Gay, author of Roryland, the up and down world of golf's global icon, joins us now. You can see his pretty face right there on YouTube by simply going to @TheFanMilwaukee. Use that @ @TheFanMilwaukee. He joins Mason Crosby and myself. Thanks so much for coming out, man. Appreciate it. How you doing?
Sparky, Mason, glad to be with you guys.
Awesome. Timothy, I really appreciate you jumping on. And, what a perfect timing. I've been talking about the Open Championship for a couple days now. Just so awesome getting to wake up early and watch this drama unfold. It looks like it's raining there now. Have you ventured out there, or are you at home? You didn't go to Royal Port
Rush? I'm in Vienna, Virginia, but I have had the honor of being at 3 different Open Championships over the years, Mason, including the one that was held at Royal Portrush 6 years ago, which, as you recall, didn't turn out too well for my man Rory.
It did not. But another Northern Ireland guy won it, Shane Lowry. So it worked out for the country there. But
absolutely. Let's Shane is actually from the Republic.
Rory. He's down. He's a Republic. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh my gosh, yeah, I did miss that.
West of Dublin.
Yeah. He'd get mad at me if I said that. So. Let's dive into this book a little bit. I love what I was kind of just reading through the bio of what it's about. What kind of got you on this path to write this book about Rory and what he's gone through as a professional and and what his kind of his impact is on the game of golf.
Yeah, I have been fascinated with Rory since I first saw him play as an 18-year-old when he made his Open debut at Carnoustie. 2007, ended up being the silver medalist, the low amateur, the only amateur that week who made the cut. I took one look at that swing and knew that he had a chance to be an absolute immortal. And over the years, my fascination has just increased with him. I happen to be of Irish heritage, Mason, and love Irish history, love Irish culture. Have always wanted to write a book about the Troubles in Ireland and the impact it had on families in Ireland, including the McElroys and the McDonalds, both sides of whom were devastated by the Troubles. It's an uncomfortable subject for many Americans to deal with. It's an uncomfortable subject for Rory to deal with, but it's all part of his story. His story is Ireland's story, and it's a story of grit and resilience and overcoming the worst kind of hatred.
Oh, man. Yeah, it gives me chills thinking about. Just thinking about what it had to be like trying to become a professional at any sport, become a professional at golf, with the history of all that looming and what that means, and just what he's overcome and accomplished to this point.
Yeah, the story is remarkable. Rory was very fortunate. He was born in 1989 as the troubles were beginning to wane. But his story, the arc of his career and peace and stability, or at least a measure of peace and stability coming to Northern Ireland, are intertwined. When he was 9 years old, Mason and Sparky, he won the World 10 and Under Championship at Doral outside Miami. He came
I didn't
home-
know that tournament existed. I had no idea.
Just
well,
dominate.
it's fortunate for Rory that it existed because the best thing that could have happened to him happened. The great Jim McLean, golf instructor,
Yep.
happened to have a son in the tournament. And he took one look at Rory's swing and said, I've never seen a 9-year-old with that kind of tempo and rhythm and that kind of beauty in his swing. Talked to Jerry, Rory's dad, and said, you've got to give this kid as much instruction and coaching and equipment and all the rest that you possibly can. It completely changed the McIlroy family lifestyle. Jerry started working 3 jobs. Rosie, his mom, started working all night, worked the graveyard shift at a 3M plant in Bangor, which is about 10 miles north of Hollywood, where Rory grew up. So Jim McLean had no idea the impact he was going to have on the McIlroy family's future. But they took an enormous risk by working so much, incredible sacrifice on their part. But the gamble paid off, and Rory became, by age 16, one of the best amateur golfers in the world. And at age 16, shot a 61 at Royal Portrush. When I was 16, I would have shot a 61, but I would have had 9 more holes to play.
Yeah, exactly, at least.
Yeah. Rory shot one of the great rounds at Royal Portrush in 2005 that any player any amateur has ever shot anywhere around the world. But 4 years later, 2 years rather later, he made his debut at the Open Championship and played absolutely beautiful golf. And from that moment on, I have followed his career very closely. But at age 9, he, just as peace and stability were coming to Northern Ireland, he wins the World 10 and Under Championship, becomes a hero overnight, and his career has tracked the path of peace and stability in Northern Ireland. It's a beautiful story.
Oh, that's so awesome. We got Timothy M. Gay, the author of Rory Land, The Up and Down Worlds of Golf's Global Icon, on the Mason Crosby Show, on the green, presented by Alice Windows and Doors. So I just, I'm thinking about major championships with Rory. You know, obviously the Open's going on right now in his home country, right down the road from where he grew up. Was the book finished whenever he closed out and won the Masters this spring?
Yeah, my timing wasn't great in a lot of ways.
It was
the narrative.
It's close.
For
it was
Roryland,
close.
Yeah, the narrative for Royland was finished up in the sort of mid-fall of 2024, and of course, in the final chapter, I predict that he will win other majors, but that the Masters might end up being his great white whale, the thing he never quite went. Because I didn't think he could putt those greens for 4 days. Well, he proved me wrong. I was never so happy to be so wrong in my life. So I had to go and write an epilogue. It was too late for the U.S. edition, which came out in the middle of May. But the Irish and U.K. edition will come out later this summer. I've written a new epilogue for it, which acknowledges his Masters Championship and his completion of the career Grand Slam, and was a joy to write.
Well, I have to think with how this story and what you wrote about him has to be this, you know, the grit and his desire and what his parents went through and all of that, and seeing him, win that Masters tournament has to be a huge weight off of him, has to be an accomplishment that they all just said wow, we did not know this was ever going to happen. But I do want to ask the question, watching him since then and some of the interviews that he's had, do you see success and wins in his future? Is he going to be able to keep chasing, or did that kind of like just kind of, put an end to that chase in his heart? What do you think is going to happen with Rory down the road?
Mason, that's a great question. And there's a reason Up and Down is the subtitle of the book. That's Rory McIlroy. I spent 400 pages explaining that Rory is often his own worst enemy. And he's a guy who looks for challenges, but is sometimes impetuous, a little too impulsive for his own good.
Like whenever he rolled his ankle playing soccer, right? Before before one of the tournaments.
Yeah, before St. Andrews. I mean,
that's right.
A guy in the prime of his career would miss an Open Championship at St. Andrews, just incredibly painful. But with Rory, think about it. He spent more than a decade, Mason, climbing that summit, trying to reach the mountaintop of the career Grand Slam, something that only 5 other golfers in history have done. He got there after all that heartache and anguish. I think the next morning he woke up and it was tough for him to sort of focus on the next goal. I think he struggled. Then along came the PGA and the very odd and I think inexplicable declaration that somehow his driver was non-conforming, and why he was singled out is a real head scratcher. There were a dozen other guys whose drivers were found non-conforming, but for some reason, Rory got singled out and he got upset about it. He had a reason to be upset about it.
Yeah.
Mason, Sparky, if you think about it, all 3 big golf institutions, the USGA and their compliance people, the PGA of America, and the PGA Tour have all in the last year or two really turned their backs on Rory in ways that
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. He was the voice of conscience for the PGA Tour in the big battle.
I was going to bring up Liv and all those things.
And they kept on,
go into it.
Right. They kept on sending him out there in front of the television cameras, and he kept on, bucking up the PGA Tour, taking on the Liv directly, being, in my view, way too critical of his colleagues who went to Liv. And then the rug was pulled out from under him just a few days before the 2023 U.S. Open started. Then, fast forward to the non-conforming debate. It was the USGA, people together with the host that week, the PGA of America. So it has been a rough spot for Roy. I think he's got every reason to be upset, but he is upset at the wrong people. The media was not to blame for these issues. The media was merely reporting what was being given to them. And I think Rory got overly sensitive about this, way too thin-skinned. And I think he's coming out of it. I think he's been much more relaxed the last few weeks, played very well last week in Scotland, and he's played okay these last couple of days at Portrush. Maybe hasn't scored as well as he could have, but he played very well down the stretch today and is, I think, 5 back of Harman.
For sure. Man, I love that. I was going to dive into his kind of being the PGA Tour's face through all of that. And then how they turned his back. Like that is so interesting as well. I was trying to find a picture. So I have a picture after he won the PGA Championship. I think it was out at the Ocean Course in Kiel. Yeah. And then he comes so was it 13 at Whistling Straits? Is that am I correct with that?
No, in 2012.
When was the 13 or when was the Whistling Straits?
It was 2014 at Valhalla.
Okay, and then so 15 at Whistling Straits. Is that correct?
No, he did not win from.
He didn't win, but I'm just saying he was there.
To the Masters of 2025, he did not win a major. He won.
So he was at a media day though, leading up to the 2015 PGA Championship there in at Whistling Straits.
Oh yeah.
And so I was trying to find a picture because I have a picture of my son standing next to his bag. So we got to meet Rory, met his dad, and just like how youthful and young and and you can kind of see it now too after all the stuff with the PGA and Liv and how he kind of got used through all of that. Like he's much more guarded in the media and like how his approach is. Do you see some of that? And do you think he's kind of hardened himself a little bit?
I advise him in my book. I say several times over, Mason, that he would be better off talking in cliches the way 98% of professional athletes do. Rory has a tendency to sort of get caught up in the weeds, and he loves jousting with the press. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, fabulous. Well, he really would be better off just answering the questions on a sort of superficial basis. But I'm so glad you showed that picture of your son because Mason, that is the great strength of Rory McIlroy. He's so wonderful with kids. I've got an entire chapter devoted to just the impact he has on kids who follow him around. At the 2023 Travelers Championship in Connecticut, I followed a bunch of kids around who were, asking for his autographs and then following him around in the practice round. He's just a beautiful guy to watch. There you go.
Look at that. We were both young. Look how young we were.
Oh, my heavens. Fabulous stuff. So how old is your son now?
He turns 15 in August.
There you go.
Yeah, that was it was so great. Yeah, he was so gracious. Timothy M. Gay, the author of Rory Land, joining the Mason Crosby Show on the green segment here. Tim, I really appreciate you jumping on. I love those stories. Hope to have you on again sometime because maybe after the next tournament Rory wins, we'll get you on and we'll talk about it because I hope for his sake that he finds a way to just keep chasing. He's just too good. He's too fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you jumping on, Timothy.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys, very much.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
There he is, Timothy M. Gay, author of Rory Land, again on the green segment with Mason, brought to you by Alice Windows, Doors, and more. Coming up next, it's Zach Brockman, president of the Beloit Sky Carp, the Brouhaha softball game coming up next weekend in Beloit. We'll talk to him straight ahead. Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer, filling in for Thunder.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2 as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Fifer filling in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. Of course, you can always stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, or you can check us out live streaming, baby, right there on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. At symbol, right? Use that at symbol. The Fan Milwaukee for the live streaming. And then you can go back and watch past interviews like that one we just did with Timothy M. Gay, author of Roaringland. You can go back and watch that. Charlie Usen, my producer in the afternoon, and our guy Tommy Wirtz, they make shorts. So you can go on there and watch all the shorts on our YouTube channel as well. And of course, like and subscribe, right? Just like everybody else tells you, I now get to tell you the same thing. It's kind of fun telling people to like and subscribe.
Like that.
Yeah, it's. I never thought I'd get to say, but here we are. All right, joining us now, he is joining us, of course, on the fan guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. He is Zach Brockman, president of the Beloit Sky Carp, as we get ready for the big brouhaha softball game coming up next weekend. Zach, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you guys too. Good morning. This is a great
morning.
opportunity. We got a fun event coming up.
Heck yeah, Zach. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Border Brouhaha there at the ABC Supply Stadium, home of the Beloit Sky Carp. It's going to be awesome. I went to the store yesterday. I have a glove. It needs a little oil. It's been sitting in the garage for a little bit. So yeah, I'm breaking that in a little bit, getting the kids ready, getting everyone ready. Just talk about what everyone can expect if they're able to come to that charity softball event on July 27th.
Yeah. So you can expect a really fun event. I mean, we're in terms of the state line community in this area. We consider ourselves a community living room. So we put on all types of fun events throughout the course of the year, and primarily ones that that deal with great causes like Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish Wisconsin is going to benefit from this event. We got a lot of great celebrities, headlined obviously by yourself, Jordy. I know we've been getting a lot of interest of about all the Packer folks that are going to be coming, but we also got a lot of other celebrities coming too. Bonnie Blair, I know you was on your show recently.
Yeah, she's
that must
great.
have been awesome talking to her. I mean, that's a living legend.
I know we should have carved out like 2 hours because I was looking at her bio, and I mean 5-time Olympic gold medalist, and it's like
Right.
we scratched the surface. I mean, she was talking
Right.
about racing in Holland on skates against their world class track stars. Like I'm like, all right, tell me more stories. I need that.
Yeah, she's just on another level. It's
sure.
just like when you come to athletes, professional athletes. I mean, she's just amazing. But and we got her coming out. April Rose, a bunch of Khalil Valentine, is going to be out here, which is going to be cool. Tom the Clawwitter. I don't know if you know who Tom is.
Okay, I
Tom
don't know.
is currently the pitching coach for UW Whitewater, which just won a national title.
Nice.
Which is great. But he's a former big leaguer too, and a longtime friend of not only our owner but our team here, big supporter. So that's going to be awesome. We mentioned Bonnie
I gotta
Blair.
look. I hope he's on my team. I was looking at my roster, and I'm like, I thought this was my event. What's going on? I mean, Jordy and
Those
Tim.
rosters
I
are
mean,
subject to change still. We're
okay,
still
good.
matching
So
a
I
little
could,
bit.
yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
We'll work on it.
Fixing and matching. So we'll figure all that stuff out. And make sure.
Perfect. I love it. So yeah, so we're cruising out there. I'll be in next week. I'm so honored. I'm getting inducted in the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame on Thursday. We're going to be cruising around the state and then cruising there to Beloit for the game. What festivities are going on around the game? Like when people are coming, what do they have for the kid? What do y'all have for the kids? Are there activities before the game even starts? Just kind of run down the day for what people can expect there.
Yeah. So we open gates at 11 o'clock. And we got a couple of fun things we're going to be doing pregame. In addition to all that stuff, we're still going to have our regular game set up. So we'll have activities for the kids in our right field corner, which we set up for all of our games. which would be great. All of our concessions, everything. It's almost just like we're having an event, like we always would. But 11 o'clock gates open. We're going to do a field goal kicking contest, which this is going to be interesting. There's going to be a $1,000 prize for someone, a lucky fan that can kick a 33-yard field goal, which I can tell you, Mason,
have you been practicing?
Well, here's the thing. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity. I went to SoFi Stadium, just part of the National Sports Forum, and I had an opportunity to kick a field goal. Try to. I couldn't get it more than 3 feet off the ground. A lot of respect, mad respect.
Getting it up in the air is the hardest part. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I could not get it up in the air. So this is not going to be an easy task for this fan, but there will be an opportunity to kick a 33-yard field goal to win a $1,000 prize, which is great. Then we're also going to do a home run derby, too. So we'll have a fence set up at the regular, softball distances and everything. So that'll be fun and interesting and yeah, it'll just be great to have our on-field MC interview some of you guys on field for the fans and different things like that. So it's going to be a fun event all the way around. We're going to start the game at 1 o'clock, and from there we'll play a fun softball game for everyone and have a little fun in the process.
Hey Mason, this is cool and all. We're doing this softball thing, and I'll be out there as well, and Mitch Thunder Nelson will be out there, and Tommy Wirtz will be out there showing off his guns. But next year, because I'm assuming we're going to do this every year, next year, Mason, I suggest we go to 16-inch softball, no baseball gloves. We play bare hand with 16-inch softball.
That's Chicago style right there.
They call it Chicago style, correct.
Chicago
style. Let's see Jordan Love's softball tournament go 16-inch and see what that looks like, because that would really be a separator there if we're playing 16-inch. Now you got something, right?
That's a whole different game. I love that.
Yes, it's a whole different game. Harder to hit the ball,
no
too.
Gloves.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah,
you
maybe
don't catch it like a football.
Correct.
It's harder to catch. It's bigger.
I love that. Yeah, let's do it. And then we all have to be barefoot, or we could even throw in like the Minocqua bats are, like the Minocqua where you have to wear the snowshoes, right?
Oh my goodness.
We just make this thing so crazy. Just bring in all traditions from everywhere.
It'll be an obstacle course / softball game.
Yeah, exactly. I got my kids. We're gearing up. We're getting ready. I'll probably have my son, attempt the extra point first, just to give everybody an idea of what it looks like.
Have you been teaching him the ropes on that?
Yeah, he can kick a little bit. Yeah, he kicked 8th grade. We had 2 good kickers, him and his buddy Woodson. Really good. We had to move them back. They were kind of competing who was going to kick in the game. They both made 40. I think they made 42 yarders. Woo. So that was pretty nice. Wow. Snap, hold, and kick. Yeah. So, it helps, whenever you got a professional kicker as a coach out there, trying to encourage that. It was so funny because the long snapper at that age is always the hardest part. It's like get somebody to snap the ball back there. Right. And so all the big guys are just dribbling it, all that. So I actually got one of our corner wide receiver, tall, skinny guy. And he's like, I can do it. And so he started firing. I'm like, yep, you're our guy. They can't hit you. They can't do anything. You're our long snapper now. So we had a 120 pound guy in there, snapping the ball. But it worked out. We made extra points, field goals throughout the whole season. We made a field goal in the city or the district championship game to win it. So I'll be out there. I'll coach you up. So come to the game. You will get into that, that raffle to be, picked for that $1,000 field goal deal. And I won't leave you hanging. I'm going to try to help these, I'm going to help whoever wins that. I'm going to help them try to make that. We're going to get a little coaching practice before it even starts.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. We still have tickets available too. Go to skycarp.com. We have a dedicated page, on our website, to this, which lists all the celebrities and all the fun stuff we're going to do. So go check it out.
Sounds
perfect.
Good.
Yeah, what else y'all got going there? Just for your team. I know y'all are in the thick of it. Getting after it. So I saw a bunch of things on the site. The events y'all have. You have a baseball camp coming up. Just tell us what the Sky Carp have going as well. If anyone wants to head down there and catch a game.
Yeah, so we're in the home stretch of our season. So we have 4 more homestands. We got some bobblehead giveaways. We still have Harry Potter night coming up, Star Wars night.
Nice.
Yeah. These are fun. These are fun promotions. I'm trying to get the staff to dress up as as Jedis and all that. We'll see how that goes. But
I feel like a player coming out with like the robe on and then like open it. That would be
yeah.
epic.
Well, if you want to dress up for Star Wars night for this brouhaha event, feel free, Mason. I mean,
for sure. I think I have multiple outfit changes ready to roll.
Yeah, so we got some great promotions coming up, in that regard. Like you said, we have a skills camp for kids. It's completely free. It's sponsored by our local bank partner here, First National Bank and Trust. That's August 12th through the 14th. Fans can go on and sign up on our website too. Like I said, it's completely free, which is great. They'll get some instruction from our players and coaches. And then as we transition into the off season, and after Labor Day and whatnot, we're going to be having a major Christmas light show here. It's going to go for 50 days, and it's going to be basically a walkthrough of our entire park. We're using the field and the bowl. It all synchronizes to music, and it's going to go from the week before Thanksgiving all the way through the first weekend in January. Wow. So that should be really fun and something new too.
That's awesome. Heck yeah, that's great. I love that you can utilize the facilities and get something going throughout the whole year. I mean, that's what Lambeau Field did so well whenever they did all the new renovations, Titletown, and it's a year-round deal now. So it's awesome that you can do that and have those things rolling throughout the year. Oh man, I cannot wait to get up there and get this thing rolling. I do need to I need to get out and hit some balls and get that. My golf game might be detrimental. I can't be dipping that shoulder too much and just pop fly and everything. So I'll get this thing right here in this next week and be ready to roll.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. This is going to be a fun event. Like you said, we're trying to make this an annual thing. We want to continue to raise more and more money for Make-A-Wish. In the process with this.
Yeah.
And it'll be a great community event, too, for people to come out and enjoy.
And next year, 16-inch softball and a bunch of jammed fingers. It's going to be amazing, Zach.
Yeah,
maybe Chicago style.
Or we just do a kickball tournament.
That could, you could do that, too. Yeah.
Yeah, we do that, too, here. We call it honk ball.
Call it what?
We call it honk ball here.
I love that.
Sky Carp, Goose, honk ball,
honk ball.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm slow. I'm sorry. It took me a couple minutes. I'm sorry. Zach Brockman, president of the Beloit Sky Carp. Again, follow Beloit Sky Carp on Twitter at Beloit Sky Carp. The Brouhaha comes up next weekend. Make sure to get your tickets now. Zach, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
I really appreciate it, Zach.
Take care. There he is, Zach Brockman, president of the Beloit Sky Carp. Y'all didn't include me in any of this planning for your little event here, but I'm telling you, you all should have had, and you can do it next year. You get Jordy back or whoever.
Well, now we're getting the ideas.
I know. Y'all should have had tattoo stations, right? So it's $1 a tattoo, $2 a tattoo. One is a Mason Crosby tattoo, and then one is a Jordy Nelson tattoo. And you have 210 set up. All the money goes to Make-A-Wish, and then whoever wins has to do something in front of everybody on the field after the game is over, wherever that might be.
Just our faces.
To be fair, we did try to have a tattoo at this thing multiple times.
Really?
Yeah, Bryce Terang or Yelich, if they would have gone on their streak.
Oh, so Tommy would have gotten one.
Tommy would have gotten a tattoo.
I'm
on
talking
the field.
about like temporary tattoos that kids can put on, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, so not real tattoos for the kids?
No. Like real? No, not real. Yeah, very good.
We could
go get your 6-year-old. I'll tout it up, man. It'll look great at the softball game.
Seriously, you could actually do different rules like every inning. Make it a little banana ball kind of thing. Maybe put some slip and slides to the bases or something along those lines. Like. Next year, we'll make the creative process a collaborative.
Like got to run to the bases in flippers, like you
or flip flops or something like that. Slides,
yeah, snorkels, we get the whole thing.
So that's a great idea. Let's talk about the water idea. So you do the tattoo thing, right? So it's you versus Jordy, let's say. Have the temporary tattoo station set up, $1 piece, $2 piece, whatever it is. Whoever loses gets put into a dunk tank after the game, and then whoever voted for
more money for that, then it's like,
right, and then whoever voted for the winner, they're the ones that get to throw the balls at the dunk tank. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. I think that's a good idea. Would you go into a dunk tank?
I mean, I would do anything for charity. Well, I don't say nope. I take it back. I take it back.
You said it. It's too late.
Sounds like a tattoo bet
coming.
Erase
it, Tommy.
I heard him say it. We're
can't
saying
say anything.
He said anything.
I never say that. I never say I'll do anything for charity. Gosh.
We could come up with some really good stuff, and we're saying anything. Anything at all.
Within reason.
All right, take a quick time out. Come back on the other side. I know talking about the NIL is a very popular topic on this show. I've heard many of them being discussed, and I know Mason Crosby tends to get a little bit fired up. Well, the president of the United States of America has decided that he wants to tip his toes into the water and try and help out college sports as well, involving the NIL. And we're going to talk about that. And I don't know if I'm going to make Mason too happy with what my take on this is. So we'll find out. That's straight ahead. It's Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Fifer in for Thunder, and he, of course, is the star, Mason. Welcome back. See Sparky Fifer in for Mitch Thunder Nellis, the star of the show, Mason Crosby. He is here as always.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to extra points with Mason Crosby coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes or so. So,
Yeah, I'm ready for this, Spark. I'm not sure where you're going to be going. So,
well, we talked about this yesterday a little bit on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here that weekday afternoons from 2 to 5. Andrew Wagner on today for Sports Brewers Writers. We go inside the clubhouse, brought to you by Focus Baseball, coming up this afternoon at 3:20. And we went through and we kind of looked at what the president had to say and what he's kind of suggesting. What he's kind of suggesting is that we essentially have a cap for amount of money allowed to each individual player for NIL. Meaning, okay, quarterbacks are going to get, $3 million or whatever the case may be, or the best players are only going to get $3 million. They can't get 5, they can't get 6, they can't get 7. They can only get $3 million. Now, he didn't put a specific number on it per se, but that's what he's suggesting. So he's going to kind of curtail it and say you can only get so much. Before I tell you what my idea is, what do you think of that idea?
Well, so like the concept here is that the NCAA is going to we're going to have more government oversight.
Essentially, there would be
deciding what players' worth is.
Right. So you've got kind of like a commissioner type deal or whatever.
So it's a CBA without the players being able to actually negotiate anything.
Right. So like the NBA
They're just
has,
decide.
like how the NBA has max salaries, right? So you can only get so much in the NBA based on years played and everything else. That's what the NBA has already. Baseball doesn't have that. Football doesn't have that, but the NBA does. Yeah. So it would be similar probably to kind of like how the NBA is, allowing kids to only get to a certain amount.
And then I did see in that as well that they would say they want to put something in place where it would kind of prevent and block the players organizing. Right.
So it'd be antitrust. So, try to make sure there is no way of them suing the NCAA going forward.
Here's my only, and an issue. I don't mind that because I do think if players organize and it is, all right, NCAA, and I see what, this order, executive order, Congress getting involved, if the players organize, and they say, now we're employees. You're paying us. We want all the benefits. We want all this. It will literally, schools will cease to exist in those sports. Instantly we will go to the mega universities will have a league. They will just have a league where they can pay players. They can do all this. The small schools will cease to exist anymore. And I don't like that. And I do like the idea of trying to preserve college athletics and actually make it's never going to be what it once was, but at least keeping college athletics something different from professional sports, which there's just something beautiful about it. And I saw in the article too, mentioning developing future Olympians. I mean, we have Bonnie Blair on. If we're not developing our Olympians down the road, how much are you going to have to pay somebody that's getting paid $3 million a year to play their sport in college to go and be in the Olympics? They will not go and do it if they are not paid at a subsequent level. So those types of things are going to be an issue. And at some point the money will, it's not going to run out, but it will get tightened down to where it's all right, we're just going to make this another, feeder league into the NFL, another feeder league into the NBA, and it's just going to change the dynamic of college sports as a whole.
I think I've talked about this before. I think you're going to see players retiring much earlier, and I think eventually you're going to see somebody. I'm not sure what sport it'll be, and somebody is going to cash in that NIL money, play all 4 years or maybe 5 years, cash in every year they can, and then just get drafted and say, I'm good. I'm going to retire and not play anymore. I've got, $25 million in the bank. I really don't want to bang my brain into the wall anymore. Yeah. I'm going to call it a career and not even play the NFL. When that happens, then all these red flags are going to go up and go oh my goodness, we can't have players not playing in the NFL because they're making so much in college. But I think at some point that's going to start happening. I mean, I know for certain not everybody loves playing the professional sport they play. I've talked to numerous NBA players. Their favorite sport is soccer. That was the sport they wanted to play. They got to be too tall and they couldn't play. And they were good at this and they were tall, so they played it. But they never loved it, and they're doing it just to get a check. And that's all it was. So now you're going to take...
What is your why?
Right. Yeah. So now you're going to take these dudes that don't love it to begin with and say, hey, your bank account's good. You don't got to work anymore. They may say, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going to work anymore.
And it's not about education at all anymore. And not that everyone has to go to college and get a secondary degree and any of that. But like college sports were about going to school, getting an education, and being a student athlete. So if we eliminate that, then it's like if there's no point to go to school, then these are just professional athletes, and it's like you might as well treat it as such. And carve this thing out away from the universities.
Well, and that was a complaint already in NFL draft prospects this year, was that like executives could tell that maybe people were a little more comfortable already going in and not as hungry per se to get to the NFL because they had felt. I mean, look at Shedeur Sanders, a guy that everyone said tanked his interviews. During
Shamar Stewart now.
Yeah, and Shamar Stewart, right.
He's old now. He might go play in college again because he's going to get paid.
It's another example of, that being a problem with it. And I agree with Mason's point, too, that while I do think there has to be, if they're going to play at public universities and they're getting funding from government, they need to be listed as employees for sure. But then they're just going to remove the athletic departments altogether from these state fundings.
They're going to become privatized, or it'll just become their own little special league because of that. Because and I think that's what, the government, the U.S. government getting involved. They're saying like these public schools cannot carry these, all these athletes as employees. Like once they decide to get employee benefits, the health care, all of the stuff that you get whenever you become an NFL player, an NBA player, because of the union and the separate businesses that operate together. Once you dive down that path, it's just there isn't enough money to fund all of that.
Do you want to see a cap on the NIL in the NCAA? Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off, record a voice message, send it in through your Odyssey app, AUDACY. That is free. You can listen to us live. Check out all the podcasts there. Check out the podcasts on iHeart, TuneIn, you name it. We've got it. Also, don't forget, live on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ symbol at The Fan Milwaukee. He's Mason Crosby, Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. I'm going to take it to the next level now, Mace. So we have the individualized cap number. I'm going to change it. Okay? I'm going to change what he's saying, the president. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not going to cap Mason Crosby's kid. Somebody wants to pay Mason Crosby's kid $8 million a year to be a kicker at Colorado. Go ahead. You do it. But we're going to cap the overall roster in each sport to be a certain amount, and then each school can determine how much money they want to spend on different players. So, for example, in college baseball, you have a pool of money that you can spend. Each manager and coaching staff gets to determine who they're going to give that money to. So a little Johnny over here may get 10% of his education paid for. Jimmy might get 20% of his education paid for, whatever the case may be. It's not all full rides for men's baseball. So for football and basketball, you can determine you have, pick the number, $20 million in NIL money each university can spend in Division I each and every year going forward. But you cannot exceed that number. Otherwise, if you're caught, you're penalized, whatever the case may be. I think that helps out the Wisconsins of the world, who clearly can't keep up with all of these other big schools like SMU and BYU now coming onto the scene. And Texas Tech has a ton of money all of a sudden. And these guys now that weren't as good as Wisconsin, now we're going to surpass Wisconsin because they can spend all this money they have from their boosters and so forth. Mm-hmm. So from Wisconsin's standpoint, if I know the cap is 20, and if I know last year I did 10, man, if I can just get $5 million somehow, some way, we can find somebody to help us out. Now we're within $5 million to that top number where Ohio State can only go there and we got to stop. Because right now it's like, okay, we spent 10, they spent 20 last year. Cool. We're going to get to 15. Oh no, Ohio State spent 35 now this year. You didn't make any ground. In fact, you lost ground at this point. So putting a salary cap on the actual roster versus the player gives the schools and the coaching staffs freedom as far as how they want to divvy up, how they want to hand it out, and still, I think, allows you to keep more parity in the sport without getting all these super teams.
So is that not what they just did with the $21.5 million cap? that they can spend on players from the university.
Yeah,
like
that's the revenue sharing.
Revenue share
That's the
budget.
revenue. That's the revenue
But
sharing.
then NIL
is
carve
separate.
that out. So you want to put a cap on NIL spending.
Correct.
Okay, so like these co-ops and these things.
Yes.
Okay, so
right.
like separate
Stop the oil money at SMU.
Just like Texas, like we had the quote from Sarkisian yesterday, where it's like we don't that's like the last thing we talk about is NIL deals, and then they have the highest paid NIL player in NCAA. So it is interesting. I think conceptually they're trying to put some of those in place, though, where those NIL dollars have to go through a clearinghouse in order to be accepted. And they did, I think, in that, if I'm not mistaken, in that legislation, also say that clearinghouse will say, is this above value for that player? But, and to your point too, who determines that value?
Correct.
Like, it's like, is it a quarterback? Is it a running back? Is it a kicker? Is it a basketball player?
Well, I mean,
like,
look at the
what's the
Steelers.
value?
They just gave T.J. Watt, $41 million a year, whatever else. No team with a quarterback making $50 million a year is going to justify spending that much on
That's
a linebacker,
true. So
right?
like a player, a Texas player, right?
Correct.
Like they could be like, well, for us, he's valued at this much.
Yep.
Like even though no one else. So like, where does that clearinghouse step in? So yeah, I could see that in the NIL, like where, like if they put a cap where like the universities can only spend this much, and it's $21.5 million or whatever, divvied up among all the sports. Football obviously has a huge chunk of that,
right?
NIL should probably have that as well, where it's like our co-op and all of those things. We can put a lot into reserves, but we can only spend this much a year, just to at least keep it an even playing field, because that would at least help eliminate some of that transferring, all the moving pieces all the time. I totally agree with you, Sparky. Like college sports and athletes, why go to the NFL early or go to the NBA early if you're going to make that much or more? Like honestly, Cooper Flagg, I wonder what he's going to make going to the NBA with what he was projected to be making there, in college. Wasn't he making like $25 million a year?
The report was $30 million he made at between his NIL deals.
Is he making that on this rookie deal?
Tommy. I call Tommy where it's the big hunk of love, right? That's what I call him. And then his brother will call in, and we call him the big chunk of love. So, but think about this, Tommy. The big hunk of love, you're rolling $30 million deep. Let's say it's not even $30 million. Let's say it's $10 million, right?
Yep.
Let's say you're rolling $10 million deep. You're the star at Duke, whatever the case may be. And you go, I'm staying. I'm coming back. Number one, that NIL money is going to go up even more, right?
For sure.
You would think.
And even Tommy Wirtz, the big hunk of love, you're going to have women just...
You have no obligation to go to school
Not going
now?
to class.
No,
Yeah, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
And the women, they're going to be loving on the big hunk of love, Mason, because he's a multi-millionaire.
Even
He's
more.
the star on campus. Before, you were just the star on campus. Now you're the star on campus
Now you
and a
have all the money.
multi-millionaire.
You
If
got
you
that bag.
if you take Cooper Flagg and play him 4 years, that cat's got like $100 million in the bank and hasn't played a lick of the NBA and literally can walk away and go, I'm good. I'm going to go be a college analyst so I'm not bored the rest of my life.
Completely understand. And I look at a guy like Grayson Allen to be in that category actually more just with how big he was. Or Zach Edey even, I guess. He kind of got drafted a little bit higher. But a guy who's going to stay 4 years but probably not really translate
Look at how much Duncan would have made.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Duncan.
Same thing, same thing. And I do want to bring it back just a half a second here. Like, you're saying Wisconsin isn't going to or can't, I think the word you used was, compete with these big schools. And we got to stop spreading that narrative here, too, because it is absolutely a choice by the Badgers that they want to be, and maybe that's their stance, like they want to be an institution that also does value education and not just throw it all into athletics. But I mean, you're talking about the 12th highest endowment of any single university that is a public university at the 33 highest of any university in the country.
None of that matters.
And it was the 12th largest athletic program as far as profit goes when we looked at it a month ago as well with this conversation. This is not a poor man's university.
None of that matters.
Absolutely it matters.
Not a lick of that matters.
Why
in the
does it
grand
not
scheme of
matter?
things.
Why does it not
because
matter?
you're bringing in money. You're bringing in money from outside resources, from alumni, from businesses, and all of that. And that's where where the struggle for them has been,
So you're
is
saying,
to
like,
get that type of money to pay for the NIL. You're not going to get
Come
a
on,
chancellor.
alumni. Come on, J.J.
You're
Watt.
not going to get the chancellor to say, "Oh yeah, sure, we're doing so well. Here, take some of our money that we're not going to pay our teachers or whatever the case may be." They're never going to sign off
The
on that.
Watt
That's not going to
family
happen.
has a ton of money now. They should, put a
Sure,
little back into that. Throw some to the program.
I'm just telling you, trust me, in talking to people that do this for a living, that cover recruiting and so forth, the thing you hear all the time is they cannot compete with a lot of these NIL deals that are being. They're having to not be able to sit necessarily at the big boy table in a lot of these discussions.
They don't
and they're
have the
having to
vanity
sit-
money.
No.
They don't have the vanity money. Like
Nope.
we talk about that with soccer, where it's like you have vanity owners and you have like business, like they
Well-
want to run a business. All these big schools, Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Texas of the world, the SMUs, the oil money for SMU
Yes.
in Texas. I mean, that's vanity money. They're like, I want this player to be at this school. He's going to help us. So I'll give $10 million.
Well, Mason, why is
and it's
Texas
like, it
Tech?
just doesn't matter.
Is it oil money for Texas Tech too?
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
they,
yes.
they just did this
big money
exact
out
same
of
thing.
Tech.
They're changing
Oh, yeah.
their whole programs.
I will say the
programs,
fact
multiple.
that Texas Tech can pay players the way they do, and Wisconsin, like some of these other schools can't, is a little mind blowing. Because you have to pay them to get them to go to Lubbock. I mean, I was born in Lubbock. I've been there a million times. Like, I know what it is out there. It's a great town, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere.
If you have never been there and you're like, hey, come play here, you're probably, in this day of NIL, you're going to have to persuade them with a little extra cash.
The projection was they're paying 30% extra for recruits than another would.
Yeah, the bad
at a
team
But
university.
they're doing it, though, right?
Yeah, they're doing it.
Bad team tax, so you got to pay just like a bad baseball
Would
team
you say
has to pay
Texas
more.
Tech is worse than Wisconsin right now?
Athletic program, no shot.
Yeah.
No shot.
Texas Tech's a better program, right?
So
No, I'm disagreeing.
I would
with
say
you.
Wisconsin.
I'm saying the athletic department at Wisconsin is a
Yeah.
much bigger deal and a much larger operation.
If you're
than it
comparing-
is at Texas Tech.
Then Especially if you're comparing
aren't they
sports.
Yeah, so then I agree. Like, why aren't they paying? Like, why aren't they doing it?
Thank you.
No, because we just talked about it. They've got the NIL money with the oil money, whatever else you want to say coming in. Wisconsin doesn't have that line coming in. Now let's talk about something else, Mason Crosby. And I'm sure y'all have talked about this before. Mark Lazary talking about essentially coming in and like taking over an athletic program and kind of owning it and running it and investing in it and taking care of the NIL
I've
money
been talking about this for a while.
through all of his guys. Now,
For
you
sure.
get a Mark Lazary to come into Wisconsin and say, look, me and my boys, we're going to support this. We're going to run this. We're going to win national championships. That changes the game completely
I saw
for a school
list
like
of
Wisconsin.
top five richest people in Wisconsin.
Yep.
I mean, they're billionaires in Wisconsin, like from finance, all that. Like they could hedge fund manager, like put a hedge fund, attach it to the university, and that's
Right.
what I'm saying is going to happen though. If this is going to go that direction at some point, where now a hedge fund or a big company is going to basically buy the athletic department and run the athletic department like a part of their business, and it's going to be just a line item. It's just going to be an investment like all these other professional sports leagues. Like I have investments in soccer clubs. Same type of deal. You just get majority ownership. The university is still attached. They might own 20% of it or whatever as they're running. They're getting a residual from some of the revenue, and then these businesses are just going to run these programs, which I mean, financially makes sense, but it just literally takes all the beauty of college sports away from it. All the nuance and these kids learning how to become professionals and be something other than just grind at this sport. Because Sparky, like you're saying, they're going to quit, they're going to retire sooner. You're seeing players retire earlier in the professional sports world. Let me segue before we dive too deep into that, because I was thinking about this. And I saw one of the players, Seattle, got a guaranteed 35th pick overall?
Yep.
Got a fully guaranteed contract.
Second
I
round
will
pick.
say that this NIL, this college space, these players who have been paid all through college and getting paid, they can transfer all this stuff. Now they come into the professional sports world like the NFL, who doesn't always give guaranteed contracts, and they're willing to just say hey, I'll go back to college. I'll do something else if you don't want to give me a guaranteed contract.
This is the thing.
So, and I know your favorite person in the world is that Pablo Torre, and he's been talking about collusion there. So
Yes, but that's
maybe
it.
they'll break some of the collusion scheme.
No, but they're They're doing the same thing. I talked about this yesterday afternoon. It's the same damn thing. You're telling me these agents all aren't standing hand in hand in the second round and saying, screw these dudes, we're getting our money, kids. We're not changing. And you know what's going to happen? They're eventually going to get it. And then in the next year, it's going to be the third rounders are all going to stand hand in hand, and they're going to get it. And even though it's not in the CBA, somebody is going to try and call their bluff. And if I'm an NFL owner, I go, cool. I played without y'all last year. We'll play without y'all this year too, because no second round pick is going to break me one way or the other. If you want fully guaranteed contracts, talk to the guy running your union. No, wait, he has to step down. But either way, talk to the next guy. Talk to the next guy, whoever that may be, and negotiate it in the next CBA. But they're trying to force the issue.
He was possibly an NFL plant anyways to get that job.
Whatever it may be. But we can talk about that another time. But I'm just saying that everybody's saying,
that's
the
how
NFL
it should be.
Owners are colluding. What do you mean?
It's not colluding whenever you're not a player. You're not under any rules. Like if you discuss and you say
you're standing together, agent to agent.
It's not against any rules though.
It's not against the rule.
Oh, it is though.
No. It's not against the rule for me to not want to give a lot of money.
And the NFL tells them not to give guaranteed contracts because it didn't go well with Deshaun Watson or other players. That is against the rules. That is illegal.
So what you're saying though is if Roger Goodell sends out an email or whatever and says, "Hey, no more of these Deshaun Watson deals. Let's knock it off." Okay, if that comes down, sure, I'm with you. Did it?
It did in that thing. Yes, they said the judge said there is evidence that this happened, and then he still ruled in favor of the NFL, which is crazy.
What I saw was, and correct me if y'all are wrong, that owners were talking amongst each other like, hey, good deal there, and not giving all that guarantee money like with Deshaun Watson. I was going to hold strong,
casual,
whatever.
Just casual.
Right, casual conversations. That I have no problem with.
Oh, I totally do.
None.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's just like an agent going,
because those owners are just casually having that conversation.
Yes, but Mason, it's the same.
Each other on the back.
Mason, it's the same thing as two agents going, my guy's in the second round. We're all holding out to get more guaranteed money. They're all doing the same. It's the same thing.
I don't see it that way, though. I don't see it
How is it not? You're coming together as a group to try to get a net result at the end of the day, which is what everybody is saying the NFL is doing by saying we don't want fully guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, it's called collusion, Sparky.
It's the same thing the players are doing.
From the owner's side, it's collusion. From the player's side, it's just organizing. Like
it's organizing.
There's no rule there.
It's the same damn thing. You're all trying to hold out to get a deal done, and the owners are trying to get their deal done.
Owners cannot make deals to just basically team up and not pay players.
That was the whole thing
a certain amount
with the MLB back in. Remember when there was no MLB free agency signings back in the 80s, Sparky, right? And that people wouldn't change teams because the owners were literally colluding. Do not offer my player a deal. I'm going to be the only one to offer a deal, and they will sign that deal. And we didn't see MLB players get paid, and it led to what? 1994, right? Strike. Yeah. They finally were like, we're not going to play then because there was so much collusion between the owners. Yeah. That's the same direction it's heading towards
sure
the NFL.
In the CBA deal, there's a no strike clause in it in this current CBA as well. So it's players are even banned from organizing and going on strike.
Let's just say this. Let's just put it on the table.
I'm not like a rah-rah, let's all unionize. That's not my side of things.
The weakest union.
I've seen it.
The weakest union in sports forever has been the NFL Players Union. You always have had leaders.
Because the owners collude and they have all the control.
No. Donald Fear.
Oh my gosh, yes it is.
Hold on. Donald Fear.
I love this.
Was running the Players Union. I called him Little Satan. He was running the Players Union back in the day. He's the one that cost Major League Baseball the World Series and stood toe-to-toe with Bud Selig and said, screw you. We're not doing anything you want to do until we get what we want, and we won't play for a year or whatever the case may be. But nobody that's led the Players Union has ever gotten to that point of putting their chest out and going, you can't play without us. I mean, you had scabs once, I guess, back in the 80s. But for the most part, nobody really stands up. Nobody's willing to lose money kind of going forward. Now, let's transition back to what we were just talking about with the NIL. Now, all of a sudden, these guys at the bottom of these rosters, these draft picks, they're like, dog, I got to get paid. I can't be not playing for 2 years, man. I can't afford to live without this. Now, these kids that are coming into the NFL now are all financially set for a lot of these guys.
That's why
so now, if you want to miss a season, I got you. You want to miss 2 seasons? I got you. We're good. They're in a better position now to put their chest out against the owners than they've ever been.
Or they're more desperate and they're going to sign worse deals because they're just trying to get opportunities because they know the third, the second round picks are going to hold out, and then you're going to see more of these later round picks making NFL rosters.
Yeah, we'll find out.
And then the quality of the sports, and then ultimately that's what the players have to do in order for the owners to give guaranteed contracts, because it will happen. If second, third rounders who have maybe made a little money in college decide hey, I'm fine just waiting and sitting.
Right.
Then now you're playing with fifth, sixth, seventh round players, and you're putting together a roster that just isn't as good ultimately. So I believe that is the ebb and flow. But yes, when owners have a conversation, basically say if I was going and negotiating a contract with the Packers, and we're going back and forth, and then I'm trying to negotiate with another team, I technically I can't be trying to maneuver those things with each other as well. You can just openly negotiate. But if they call each other and they're like, hey, I'm not going to give them this, I'm not going to give them that, they're not worth that, all those things, that is collusion. They cannot do that.
Can I ask you a question?
The team cannot do that. They can't work together and say, let's lowball this person so that neither one of us has to pay that much.
I simply think they all realize that the idiots in Cleveland with now Bucks co-owner Jimmy Haslam made a horrible deal with Deshaun Watson, and they simply said, please let nobody else make stupid deals. Don't let them benchmark that and say, well, Deshaun Watson got this, so you got to guarantee all this money because they're idiots in Cleveland. I think that was the conversation. Don't let anybody bully you into a deal because that horrible deal Cleveland made. If that Watson deal never happens, none of this conversation ever happens. But because it happens, and they're all like, look, we can't let it go this crazy. Well, they just paid Watson, so we've got to make sure we stand in tow. Again,
I'm glad it happened because it finally came to light, because I will say there's also the other side of the collusions piece where owners really dislike each other and they will just
don't trust each other.
They will feed different things to try to mess somebody else up.
Yep.
And I think that's wrong as well, though. That part of the collusion piece, if you're feeding misinformation as well to somebody, that's not right either.
You're trying to win.
I think it's against the law. No,
you're trying to win.
You can't have it
just
both
win,
ways.
Baby. Just win, baby. Mason, just win, baby. Al Davis, just win, baby.
Just
right?
Win, baby.
We're competitors.
Corporate spark.
Yeah, we're just. I'm trying to win a championship here. If I gotta lie to you so you pay more money to that guy, that's on you.
Steve Sparky Fifer wants the Packers to be sold to an ownership group.
Steve Corpy.
Hey, I'll be honest.
Do you want the Packers to have an owner at some point?
No, they pretty much had one in Murphy, and now they have one policy. But I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this much. Ed Policy, what we're just talking about here, far more likely to do something crazy like that to try to get a win than I think Murphy was. Policy,
I totally agree.
Policy
I said
and
that from
the
the day one.
suits and all that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Well, he's going to be maneuvering around there.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes down the pipe with him at the helm now.
I can't wait to see how this goes. All right, we are way late because we got into it. It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Broadcasting live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. An abbreviated extra points with Mason Crosby up
on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
All right. What a great show. Sparky and I got fired up in that last segment. It was awesome. Timothy M. Gay, author of Roryland, on at 9:40. If you missed that one, go back and listen. And something I was thinking of, and it's really awesome because watching Rory, watching Shane Lowry, and I misspoke and I was like, oh, Shane Lowry's from Northern Ireland. He's not, but they've teamed up multiple times. And to think that a Northern Irish man and an Irish player team up and do something like what he was talking about, the unrest in that country for such a long time, to think that they can play golf and like they now are not fighting, and like Rory's journey through sports is unbelievable. And I love that. And that's what makes sports great, is that like you can put aside any differences, any things that like you don't agree on, and you can go out and you can compete and try to be your very best. And that is the beauty of sports. That's why I love it. And I am excited for this weekend. I can't wait for next weekend. We had Zach Brockman on. If you missed it, if you want to get tickets, July 27th, the Border Brouhaha in Beloit at Beloit Skycart Stadium, ABC Supply Stadium. Come on out, watch us play some softball. I'm going to be throwing high heat at Sparky all day on the mound.
No, man, my shoulders hurt, man.
I don't know. Injury. We had an injury
my
update.
shoulders hurt. I think I'm PA announcer. I'm not sure how this is all going to work. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how this all works out. That'll do it for the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Mitch Thunder Nellis returns on Monday as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy your weekend.
Have a good one.